but I'll just say this. Every single one of you, you know how hard we've worked. I don't need to have people pointing the fingers one thing or another. You get your rear end in there and you play the way you know how to play. We can win the game. We're going to open it up. We're going to go fast tempo. Defense, get after Jordan Love. You can't give him that much time. You do what you're supposed to do, we'll win this game.
All right. That's got microphone.
But I'll just say this.
Well, that was fun.
Jimmy Johnson
with the hype speech there, the halftime emotional rally that will turn around the most embarrassing loss of the playoffs. Didn't work, Jimmy.
He mustered up every ounce of energy that old man had to get that speech.
I tell you, I feel like that is the embodiment of the frustration Cowboy fans must be feeling after.
He was looking right at the camera and said it. He was about to cry. Poor Jimmy.
Welcome to Bench with the Tovar brothers. Joey here, joined by my brother Angel. What's up, man?
What's up? Hello.
Wildcard weekend has come to not an end. I mean, the days are over, but the Wildcard weekend continues.
Yep.
Partially because of Mother Nature, partially because we're going to have a playoff game on a Monday night.
Back-to-back doubleheader?
Yeah, so what we end up getting this Wildcard weekend is 3 back-to-back, 3 doubleheaders, basically, on Saturday, Sunday, and then tonight, Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed some good football. Even the blowouts were fun because of the storylines attached to them. And it was just a good time. There's so much to talk about.
Yes.
There's so much to get into. Before we get into that, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for joining us. If you're new to the channel, welcome to our humble abode.
Hello.
We never named this place, did we?
No.
Welcome to the studio.
We'll name it, or maybe someone should add, in the comments.
Yeah, if you get a name,
give us a name
please.
for it.
I know several of you out there are very talented wordsmiths. I've seen your work, mostly directed at insulting us, but maybe if you direct it toward
positivity
and creativity,
you
could possibly do that. Anyway, welcome to the channel. Please like the video you're watching now would be great, and then subscribe to the channel and enjoy the playoffs with us. We go 3 times a week, no matter what. And we mean it, man. And I mean, honestly, that's like I say that like a badge of honor, but honestly, I couldn't wait to talk about football today.
Oh, man. Oh, yes. I woke up today like, let's get on the show as fast as we can.
I couldn't wait.
Football was so good this weekend.
It was a really good time. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, iHeart Radio, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcast, thanks so much for enjoying the audio version of Bench with the Tovar Brothers. We love you out there. And then, of course, follow us on our platforms on social media, Instagram, X, Twitter, and TikTok. Search at Bench Show, spelled just like that. And we're putting up stuff there all the time, following the league as best we can, putting up some breaking news. And as we get into the offseason, you're going to want to be on those platforms unless you're going to be checking Twitter every 5 seconds. We'll do that for you.
Yeah. So much going up, so much happening in playoff football and in non-playoff football. The head coaching stuff's really starting to turn now. Yep. And then playoff football is just really fun to talk about.
There's a lot heating up. Go ahead and follow us on those platforms, and we'll hang out there in between the shows. I think that's all I have for our housekeeping. Let's get into some Monday bananas. Why don't you get us started there?
All right, 1 billion bananas to NFL fans who had to sit through Jimmy Johnson's halftime speech that inspired absolutely no one, especially the Cowboys, who lost 48-32 to the NFL's youngest team.
Just an old man.
Thanks, Jimmy.
100 bananas to Chiefs fans for filling the stadium despite 0-degree temps and a negative 24-degree wind chill. Props to you for creating that environment that we love so much, but minus bananas after you get those 100 for making us endure more of freaking Taylor Swift and her cringy dancing, and then Patrick Mahomes' wife, wherever the hell her name is, trying to lean into the shot to be her celebrity. Thank God Jackson Mahomes is temporarily canceled. We begin that idiot too.
The one positive thing about this whole Taylor Swift being in the NFL is that we don't see Jackson Mahomes anywhere at all.
He is currently dealing with some legal trouble.
Good luck, buddy. Better call Saul.
What you got?
200 bananas to Matthew Stafford for going back to Detroit, despite the NFL, the Lions fans booing him, Despite him getting concussed and blacking
What's that
out
about?
mid-game, this guy still went there and tore it up. Matthew Stafford, we're pro Matthew Stafford. What the hell, Lions fans? What the hell?
Yeah, I hope that was just more about getting Jared Goff's back than. But Matthew Stafford deserved better than
No,
that. His
he did.
family deserved better than that. His kids.
What the
his
hell?
kids were wearing jackets saying Detroit born, LA raised.
That's right, baby.
They're still showing some love to
Yeah.
the 313.
They're not neglecting you. They just moved on.
20
Get over
bananas.
it.
Sorry, 20 bananas an hour to the good people of Orchard Park, New York for shoveling snow all night long for $20 an hour. See what I did there?
Yeah.
20 bananas an hour, 20.
Clever.
They just make them different up there. They make them different in the cold. I saw some of those fools shirtless. I am freezing right now. It's about 50 degrees.
Yeah.
We got
300 bananas to 49ers fullback Kyle Juszczyk for crediting his wife for a custom Taylor Swift Travis Kelce jacket. By the way, Taylor Swift did not credit her one time. Shout out to all the husbands out there who are still gassing up their wives. This is for you guys, and shout out to her. It was a dope jacket.
I mean, you got to imagine that just Taylor Swift wearing it and showing it off like that did just enough for Kyle Juszczyk's wife.
You can tag her or
my
something.
other point is, I don't give a crap about her jacket, about who made it, about Kyle Juszczyk's wife. Do not care. Go away, please.
This is not about her. This is about Kyle Juszczyk and his wife.
I don't care about them either.
His wife. Oh wow. All right, never mind.
66 bananas to Benjamin Cap. You know who that is?
No.
Benjamin Cap is a season ticket holder for the Detroit Lions for the past 66 years. He is 89 years old. And he was present for yesterday's playoff win. He was also present for the 1957 Lions NFL Championship. That's a long time to watch your team suck. Props to you, Mr. Cap.
Yeah, he was loving it. I saw a lot of Lions fans crying.
There was
night.
grown man tears last night.
Yeah, that's some grown man tears.
Okay,
Perfectly acceptable.
Let's get to the news here, and the news got off to a fast start this weekend with the Patriots making a decision as to who will be their head coach for the foreseeable future, and that is former inside linebacker coach Jared Mayo as the new coach, of the successor to Bill Belichick, as kind of they planned it out. There's a lot of speculation, and all the while, they already had it planned out.
Yeah, Jared Mayo. Congrats to you. That's the roster talent wise isn't great, but you're a head coach of the NFL. Last year, people didn't want the Texans job because they had nothing. Now look at them. Who knows what this might bring to this team? You draft a quarterback. Who knows where you could be? You could be the Texans next year.
Absolutely. I mean, they still need a GM, so he'll get to I guess kind of have a say. I'm not sure how they haven't had to do that in a while.
Maybe it'll be Bill Belichick in disguise. He'll just be the GM.
I don't think it'd be a bad. Well, no,
He's a terrible GM.
Yeah, never terrible. But maybe if that's all he has to focus on. Maybe.
Maybe.
Speaking of GMs, the Commanders have a new one, Mr. Adam Peters. Very good-looking young guy.
Yeah, I saw pictures of what a stud.
Very handsome.
That had to go into the hiring process.
Very, very handsome.
Yeah.
Of course, he's from the 49ers staff, where they're just all handsome.
Yep.
But the position he goes into here as the Commanders GM is actually a pretty great spot. It's a pretty fun spot. He gets a number 2 overall pick. He gets 6 picks in the top 100 picks, 102 picks, and 9 picks overall. So right away, he can just pee all over this fire hydrant. He can put his stamp on this roster for sure.
Yeah, start crafting his team.
Yep.
So you would think, if they don't trade up, Drake May,
it's a quarterback.
At least you get Drake May. That's you can count on that.
Or there's some drama building about Mr. Caleb Williams not wanting to go to the Bears.
Yeah,
so
or they trade up.
maybe,
Either way, there's a quarterback coming your way. You have a lot of cap space. You have a lot of draft picks. This is how you build your team.
$75 million in cap space. And also, he's going to be able to pick a head coach here because Riverboat Ron obviously was run out of town. So he'll get to pick his head coach, his quarterback, and his free agents. So that's all you want.
That's the best you can have. If it doesn't work out, it's on him. But this is what he wants, though. This is all on me. Good for you, and good for Commanders fans. A new day has started, a new era. Enjoy it.
Yes. The Raiders are hoping for a new day, and that is one led by Antonio Pierce. Max Crosby says that he will explore trade options if the Raiders do not hire Antonio Pierce. Tightening the screws to Mr. Davis.
Yeah. I saw and Antonio Pierce have some head coach interviews already why are you even joking about this, Raiders? I know there's a lot of good coaches out there. There's Harbaugh, and there's a lot of good guys out there. But if your best player on your team says he'll want out if you don't hire this guy, hire the guy.
Yep.
This is easy.
You see the motion I did with tighten the screws? That's not. I've never tightened screws like that. That's more of the purple nurple.
Yeah.
That's to your point though.
Breathtaking analysis.
Yeah, I think you have to keep him. You have to keep him now. The players want him. You've sucked for a couple years now with your choice at head coach, the John Gruden fiasco. His name's Josh McDaniel.
Yeah,
disaster as he always is. Why not let the players have a shot? You've missed on a couple times. Let the players have a shot. They won at a decent clip.
Yeah, I think either way, Antonio Pierce is gonna be a head coach somewhere. He proved it this year.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
good for you.
Raiders should I don't know what they're messing around with. Just hire him right now.
Are you for this? These threats? If you're a Raiders fan, do you like to see this?
No. I mean, if I'm a Raider fan and I'm not loving it,
right?
But I understand it because
yes,
if you're a Raider fan, you're like, well, we were good under him.
My thought would be like, I don't want anything. If there's a better coach out there, because Antonio Pierce is great. If Mike Vrabel says, hey, I want to come to the Raiders,
yeah,
you want your ownership to be able to not have to deal with, but my best player might leave.
Yeah,
you want to be able to make the right decision there without having to deal with something that might cloud his vision. So for that reason, I don't love it, but whatever. Maybe they get him back next year and they win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Quick thing here about Hard Knocks. I don't know if you saw this. In-season Hard Knocks has been around for 3 years, and it has not been a good luck charm.
No.
Let's take a little journey down memory lane for in-season Hard Knocks.
It's messy back here. What the hell is that?
In 2021, they went with the Colts. I believe that was Carson Wentz and the Colts.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. They obviously had the end-of-season collapse. They lost to the Jaguars, and they win or go home week 18. And Jacksonville fans were wearing clown costumes to the final game.
That's how you do it. God, that's bad. So 0 for 1.
Over 1. So it didn't work out in Indy. The next year, they go to Arizona. 2022 is the year Kyler Murray tore his ACL, and Cliff Kingsbury was fired.
And that one shady GM did weird things that was super shady. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please Google it. It's
Google Giant Head GM.
Wild
he should
story. It's a wild story.
I think it's Steve Keim.
Or whatever the hell his name is. But yeah, so 0 for 2.
And then this past season, do you know where they're at this season?
Miami.
They were in Miami with the Dolphins.
South Beach.
And we just saw what happened to Miami. They collapsed at the end of the season. They lost the AFC East to the Bills in Week 18. And then they get shellacked in the freezing cold weather of Kansas City to go and send them home.
Yeah, they're off to Cancun now on vacation.
Now they got to go pay Tua?
No, next this is his last year of his rookie deal.
Right, so now, usually this is when they get the extension. So you got to decide if you're going to pay Tua. Yikes.
It's bleak because you're kind of wondering. We said this, they lost, so what do you change now?
Yeah, so if your team next year, it's rumored to get Hard Knocks, maybe, cool that there's going to be more content on your team.
Just say no.
Not cool that your team's probably going to suck.
Just say no. Look at the Jets and the Dolphins this year. Both did not have great luck.
I forgot about the Jets. And then this morning, Monday morning, it was reported that Jim Harbaugh, fresh off a natty with the Michigan Wolverines, with the greatest Michigan quarterback, by the way, that he said in Wolverines history, Mr. McCarthy.
Shout to Tom Brady.
That's everyone's first thought.
Yep.
What about Tom Brady?
What about Tom Brady?
Jim Harbaugh will be in LA today. He's here.
What's up, man?
Maybe we'll see him.
Come on through. Put you out here. It's cold here, though.
To meet with the Chargers for their head coaching job. Harbaugh is 60 years old. And yeah, we'll see if his future should be in LA.
Love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. One, you get Justin Herbert with an actual head coach.
Harbaugh.
Not Brandon Allen or whatever the hell his name is. What was his name? I forgot his name. Brandon Allen.
It was Brandon Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fake head coach, fake tough guy, terrible head coach.
Was that his name?
Whatever.
Did we already forget about him?
He's already lost in the...
You keep going. I'm going to look at what this guy's name was.
And two, the AFC West. If you were to get Jim Harbaugh, you would have Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, and Antonio Pierce or whoever the hell they do hire. What a fantastic conference of head coaches. So, win-win. Harbaugh gets back in the NFL. Last time we saw him, he was losing in the Super Bowl, right? Or no. The last image we have of him is him losing to his older brother or younger brother in the Super Bowl. This is fantastic. Please make this happen.
I knew it wasn't right. Brandon Staley.
Brandon Allen is that one rep.
Isn't he a backup quarterback?
No, Brandon Allen is that one.
Yeah, you're right,
yeah.
you're right.
Brandon Staley.
Sorry, it took me a minute because I looked up Chargers quarterback. Chargers head coach, and Jim Harbaugh came up. So the internet believes that there is something going on.
No,
what I've read, it's the first of what will be a couple of interviews. So nothing's going to happen today.
Little meet and greet. Like, hey, John. Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, Jim. You know, this is L.A. This is show them the site. Show them the pretty things over here.
Yeah, shouldn't be. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. That'd be great news for the Chargers. Okay, let's get to a game recap of the games we have from Wildcard Weekend so far. Was a fantastic start to Super Wildcard Weekend. Not sure what makes it super. I think those extra teams, I guess, those 2 extra teams that they added a couple years ago.
Just a way for them to sell it more, baby.
And they
Super Wildcard Weekend.
They sold the crap out of it. Okay, the whole weekend started with a Browns-Texans game that had a lot of fans feeling good over in Dallas. Or not in Dallas. Where the Houston Texans play? I know Texas, but like...
Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah. Houston, right? I don't think they're one of those teams that plays outside of their own, like the Giants play in New Jersey. I don't think they're one of those teams. I guess Niners play in Santa Clara. No, they're in Houston. The best team in Texas, by the way.
I'm now thinking about their name. What a power grab just to say we're going to be called the Texans.
Yeah, Houston.
Just claim the whole state.
Houston in Texas already. Houston, Texas.
Yeah, it's like saying the L.A. Californians.
Yeah.
That's such a power move.
And they proved it on Saturday. I mean...
Yeah.
Woo!
I digress here. They beat the Browns 45-14.
Holy crap.
In an old-fashioned booty whooping.
It started off pretty good, though. Pretty even, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud is here. That announcement has been made and heard very clearly. He goes for 274 yards, 3 touchdowns. I believe all those were in the first half. This just wasn't a close game.
No.
Joe Flacco showed that he still is Joe Flacco. He is capable of being a good quarterback for a couple weeks. At the end of the day, there's a reason he's bounced teams last couple years. And CJ Stroud showed he is the premier upcoming quarterback in the NFL, at least until Sunday came. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. A couple of things about this game. I know you have some stuff on CJ Stroud. The win for the Texans was obviously advancing to the next round is fantastic. It also is big because these obviously are the 2 teams that did the whole Deshaun Watson trade, and the Texans currently own the Browns' first-round pick. So in beating them, they help their own draft stock, and a little shot at Deshaun Watson, like, hey.
Did you see that picture?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Deshaun Watson. It's just thinking back, I used to be that guy.
Quite the glare.
He's like, how was it? It's fun, huh? Don't get too close to that owner, though. He will screw you.
CJ Stroud is the first rookie quarterback drafted in the first round to win a playoff game since 2009, when Mr. Butt Fumble himself, Mark Sanchez, did it with the New York Jets. CJ Stroud, I mean, he just you can't say enough about the guy. He was impressive all the way throughout. He was unstoppable. He was making, I know the stat that you said was correct and is what everyone was worried about, that against man coverage, he hadn't been that good. And that was the blueprint kind of that the Jets laid out. And the Browns with a secondary every bit as talented tried to do that too, and he just torched them. Yeah. He torched the blitz, he torched zone, he torched man coverage. He just went nuclear against this Browns defense.
Yeah, you know he's good. That like I saw this tweet the other day or this morning. You know someone's good is when you take their wide receiver. So take, Nico Collins, right? Put him on any other team. Is he as good? Like he's elevating an entire franchise. They should not have beaten the Browns. Like on paper, like Browns should have won. Like 100% for sure. Stroud said, "Screw it, I'm gonna do it." I don't know how to compare him to somebody. I don't know who's been this good, this fast. Youngest quarterback ever to win a playoff game since 1950. I don't know. Who do you compare him to?
Do you think this was an upset?
No. I'm thinking like if you're a broad scope, if you're like, okay, the Browns should beat this team, like the youngest team of football. It's like if you were like a basic fan, you would think the Browns should win this game.
Okay.
But Stroud and this team of rookies and one-year contract guys just beat the crap out of the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, this Browns offensive bubble is going to pop. You can only get it done for so long with Flacco, Hunt, David Njoku as your top receiver, with Cooper being hurt with that heel for the last couple of weeks. That bubble was going to burst at some point. You were just hoping that this Browns defense could just
do what they've been doing all season.
Just shut down the Texans. And I mean, I picked the Texans for this reason. I just didn't think the Browns offensively were going to be able to keep up with the limited performance I thought C.J. Stroud was going to have, even though he didn't.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question real fast?
We need to talk about this. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I want to, because you're an Eagle fan. I want to ask you, like, straight up. Would you take Jalen Hurts or C.J. Stroud?
Jalen Hurts.
Okay. I just want to know where you land with, because for me, I don't know where to put Stroud amongst the quarterbacks yet, because it's a rookie. You don't, like,
I mean, ask me next year, but Jalen Hurts is 24-year-old, played in the Super Bowl, went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's... If I see C.J. Stroud do that...
But the fact that it's an argument is just tell you how much...
Oh, he's definitely up there already.
It's crazy. Yeah. I don't know where to put him as amongst quarterbacks.
Yeah, I know not everyone will agree with me, and that's your point. That he's already in that conversation.
Yeah, and you could obviously side with the Jalen Hurts, but it's just crazy. Like, him or Burrow, him or Lamar Jackson, or him or these... Like, he's already being compared to these elite superstar quarterbacks. He's 22 or whatever.
He just so we had the I don't know where this even came from. We didn't mean to pin Jordan Love against C.J. Stroud. That wasn't like in any of our plans, but that just seemed to be the conversation, maybe because they're the two young quarterbacks rising right now. To me, though, you watch him, man, he reminds me of Joe Burrow a lot in that you're just not going to stop him.
Yeah.
You could blitz him. He's just unflappable.
Yeah.
Like, he does not panic. He doesn't turn the ball over, which is the craziest thing.
For a rookie who's,
For a rookie against that defense, with the pressure he was seeing, like, Myles Garrett didn't have a single sack. Also, shout out to the rest of this team because C.J. Stroud's getting a lot of shine. The defense balled out. The O-line was playing really, really well. They were creating giant gaps for Singletary to look really good against. Like, this whole team is playing really well, and C.J. Stroud, as he should, is getting a ton of shine. But the way DeMeco Ryans has this roster that was, I mean, he made some changes, but this was the worst team in football last year.
By far, the worst team in football, yeah.
So to get this roster playing this well, you mentioned that Nico Collins point was dead on because we saw Nico Collins literally with another team last year with Davis Mills, and he was
not the same.
We didn't even think he was a piece.
Now we're like, how good is Nico Collins?
Is he?
It's like, well, why are we not talking about Nico Collins?
This whole team is so impressive, and now let's talk about them going forward here.
Oh man.
Okay, because they'll face the most likely the Ravens, I believe, unless the Steelers win. Then the Steelers will play the Ravens, and the Texans will play the Chiefs.
Okay.
I think they beat the Chiefs.
I'll take Texans over Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't think they could beat the Ravens, but that is the game where it's like, if they beat the Ravens, they're going to win Super Bowl.
That's when we turn on. You're like, let's see what happens. You just gotta step back, put your hands up, like, I just want to see how this works out.
I mean, Houston, even in a Super Bowl, is just so like, what?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like, they won a playoff game, and you're still like, they can't win the whole thing.
I guess that belongs in Vegas, like kind of a bizarre, like, they do those weird shows
all
the
the
time. So, like, Texans in Super Bowl. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. The sky's the limit for these guys, though. I mean, the crazy thing to me is that they're obviously years early.
Yeah.
They're going to have a full offseason with cap and free agency and draft picks to add to this team.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say enough good things about them.
But on the other side, the Cleveland Browns, you don't really fault them for losing.
Yeah.
Because let me just list you again all the people that they were out.
Right.
Deshaun Watson, Jack Conklin, Nick Chubb, Jedrick Willis, Rodney McLeod, Maurice Hurst, Grant Delpit, Duane Jones, Anthony Walker. Season ending out did not help them this game. So you don't really blame them for losing. And now you're kind of hopeful for the future. I mean, they don't have a first-round pick. They're still paying for the Watson deal, which ended up being...
We'll see.
Yeah. Currently, as of this year, I mean, it just ended now. They had $38 million, which they didn't spend on anything. Luckily enough, part of that rolls over. So next year they would be without that $31 million over the cap. But thanks to that $38 million rollover, they're about $6 million. With the restructures, they could get up to $93 million because the cap is a fiction and we don't know what it is. So basically, they could do a lot of restructuring to get $93 million worth of cap space. So that $38 million that they didn't use rolls over. So that's probably why they did that, to give them a little more breathing room this year as they kind of have to.
That's a lot of numbers. So if you didn't follow that, basically there's a way that they're going to have a lot of cap space next year going into the offseason. A lot of good free agents out there. They could still add to this team. It seems like they're going to try to bring back Nick Chubb after that injury. You have to imagine they bring back some running back help behind him.
And then Jack Conklin is a pretty easy cut because you have DeJuan Jones now, so you can save a good chunk of money there. So they have a little bit of more, their GM's going to have to do a little bit of, fixing, maneuvering here to. Yeah. But I think it's very possible for them to be back in the playoffs next year with a different team, better offense.
Seems like Jim Schwartz will be back. I mean, Stefanski, obviously, Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
The future's bright. It's just bravo for getting this far.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And that's really it for Browns-Texans. It was just a great game. Texans move ahead here. We'll see if they play the Ravens or the Chiefs. Moving on was the cold game. The Chiefs and the Dolphins, 0 degrees, -24 wind chill factor, and did not manage the Chiefs. I think they had a little bit of the old Chiefs magic. I think it looked pretty good. They did only put up 26 points, but it was freezing. To put up 26 points in that environment, was impressive. And honestly, they showed off their new shiny toy in Isaiah Pacheco. Also,
that defense showed up. The Dolphins are 1 for 12 on third down. They did not allow the Dolphins offense to get in rhythm at all. That's the storyline for me. Is all year the Chiefs have been on and off an offense. The defense has been pulling them. Now you kind of finally got showed why. The defense is very freaking good.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get to Dolphins in a second, but stay on the Chiefs. The defense has played well all year. They've been one of the best defenses all year. They're healthy now, even though Mr. Bolton has a club on his hand. He's playing there at middle linebacker. He's very important to them. L'Jarius Sneed, also someone who I think didn't make the All-Pro team. I think he made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
but he didn't make the All-Pro team. He maybe should have. He owned Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, there's a very famous clip that's going around right now of him just putting him into the dirt.
Yeah, he played really, really well. And Rashee Rice in the first, he'll be outshined. Puka Nacua had a crazy performance last night. Set the record for rookie receiving yards. But Rashee Rice had a huge day for the Chiefs, kind of filling that role that they need at receiver. Kelsey had a nice day, even though we're seeing him slow down, but he still has the solid hands, still could find the gap in his own, still has a crazy connection with Mahomes. Those two with Pacheco, we'll see if that's enough.
I think they're kind of sharpening now. Like these three guys that's it.
That is it.
That we're not going to throw to anybody.
Let me check who else touched the ball, because I doubt it was very many people, because it seemed like they were just funneling every touch to them.
I got it if you're right here.
I'm looking at it too.
Okay, cool.
No one else had more than No one else had more than one catch than Justin Watson. Everyone else had one catch or less. Kelsey had 7. Rashee Rice had 8.
They're just doing that whole offense that with Tyreek Hill, where it's just Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, but now it's Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce.
Yeah, of the 34 targets, 22 of them were to either Rashee Rice or Kelce. We're not even talking about Pacheco. Pacheco, 89 yards and a touchdown. He was key for them. I mean, he's going to be key for them throughout the whole playoffs, just to keep them on schedule as an offense. They're still not making big plays though. That's the thing.
No, they're still kind of like I don't want to say game managing offense, but they're like just like bit. Yeah, they just kind of figure out. They kind of take what the defense gives them. They don't force anything anymore because I don't think they can. But Rashee Rice looks fantastic. Travis Kelce isn't, like I said, isn't the same, but still better than most starting tight ends out there.
Right.
And Pacheco in these kind of playoff games where you need to run the ball, you need to get the first down. Those first downs, keep that clock rolling. Look fantastic.
Moving ahead here, they'll most likely face the Bills unless the Bills lose to the Steelers tonight, and then they'll go take on the who would they take on? The Steelers. So the Steelers win, they'll play the Chiefs. If the Bills win, I'm getting that wrong.
You're confusing me.
If the Steelers win tonight, if they beat the Bills tonight, they'll go play the Ravens.
Okay.
And then who would play? And then they would play the Texans.
Yeah.
We don't like them against the Texans.
No.
They're really rooting for the Bills win, even though don't like them against the Bills either.
If Stroud could do that against the Browns, he could do it against the Chiefs, right?
Is there would they be favored against the Bills or the Texans in your mind? Like,
Maybe favored probably against the Texans. Like in Vegas, they probably would favor the Texans.
You wouldn't pick them.
The Chiefs, but I wouldn't pick the Chiefs.
Most likely, they're going to play the Bills. I made that a lot more complicated than it should be. Most likely, they're going to play the Bills next round, and that's a tough matchup. Bills are playing well. Bills do just fine in cold weather.
Yep.
Obviously, we'll see that tonight, hopefully.
And another classic, if we get it, Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen game. We don't want to see that.
Yep.
So, and I think they kind of reassured everybody, like, hey, we still have Andy Reid. We still have Patrick Mahomes. We still have Spagnuolo calling, that defensive unit. We're still the same-ish team. We're just fine. They kind of put a lot of confidence in Chiefs fans. Like, we're still the same. Like, just chill out. I know, rough season, but we're here now.
Chiefs have won at least one playoff game in every season that Patrick Mahomes has been their starting quarterback. That's the past 6 seasons. Let's look on the other side here at the Miami Dolphins, who now own the longest playoff drought in the NFL, with the Lions winning. Last time they won a playoff game was the year 2000.
That's the only title that they've won this year, is that title. Sheesh.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tua entering the last year.
Where do we start?
Tua, okay. Entering the last year of his rookie deal, they picked up his fifth-year option, so they paid him $23.7 this year, 2024, this next year.
So next year's his 5th year.
Yeah. This is his last year under contract for the Dolphins.
Going into it.
You put on your GM hat.
Nope.
What would you do with Tua?
I think you look at Tua and you think, because here's the truth with Tua: if everything is right, he can put up big numbers, but everything has to go right.
Okay.
Including the weather, including the pass rush.
That sounds
including
like
his weapons. What's that?
What quarterback that sounds like?
Who's that?
Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Okay.
So is he the same class quarterback as Brock Purdy?
Well, the point I was going to make is that I think if you're the Dolphins last night, you look at obviously what Allen can do. Mahomes,
Stroud.
And then you see C.J. Stroud do that, and you think we need more.
Yeah,
we need better. I think that's what they should do. What they will do is they'll resign Tua, because Tua and McDaniel they want to work together.
Yeah, he
believes in Tua. I just don't think they're going to make that hard choice and move away.
Were you impressed at all by Tua's play Saturday night?
I mean, I was just he is what he is, and we know what he is. Like I wasn't impressed. It just confirmed everything I know about Tua.
Yeah.
Like, I did not expect him to play well in that game.
Yeah.
I did not expect him to overcome the elements. I did not expect him to lift his team to play at a level, like in the playoffs, like play better. I didn't expect that. It's exactly what I thought he'd be. Just kind of the most average quarterback that you could have asked for.
I don't know what I would do. I'd move on, but it's hard to find a quarterback. So if you have a good one, like, you kind of like, why would I give him up?
That's the good point, because most people are like, we need a new quarterback. Okay, well, who though?
Yeah, like who's out there?
I'm not arguing. I just said I probably would try to move on, but if there's no option out there, I mean, then what are you going to do? You don't have a decent draft pick as far as for a quarterback, unless you're going to take a shot on like someone who
unless you make a Trey Lance deal and just move up in the draft and pick up.
Or Justin Fields might be available too. But I'm not sure if Tua to Justin Fields that's a little risky too. We don't know what Justin Fields is, so I don't know. You might be stuck with Tua. I'm just saying I wouldn't be too excited about being stuck with Tua.
Yeah. Also, they have Christian Wilkins, who's on his last. This is his last year. He's now a free agent. Had 9 sacks, 23 quarterback hits, 2 recovered fumbles. The tag for him would be $19 million. They're already projected to be $51 million over the cap.
Yikes.
So I think this is where you kind of have to sign players that you have because you can go over the cap with them. But they're in a tough spot because you don't really know what to fix. You know what's wrong with it.
The one out I'll give them is that they were injured.
Yeah,
for sure. Like they're literally James Houston and Melvin Ingram were getting like
a lot of snaps,
big time snaps.
They were out of breath.
Which is just crazy. They weren't doing anything with them, but that's all they had
because Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips are out.
Everyone, their captain on defense was out, and Baker.
Yeah.
You had Ramsey back there, I think, playing decently, but they just didn't have a.
Xavier Howard didn't even play this game.
Yeah, right. Xavier Howard didn't play. It's a rough draw for them, but their win now window with the age of some of their players is not very long. So maybe you have no choice but to
run it back,
and see if you can stay healthy and just catch some magic. Okay, let's move on here. The Chiefs will move ahead. I already explained their scenarios, most likely going to be hosting the Bills unless the Steelers can win. Okay, let's go to the Packers and Cowboys, the first game of the Sunday set of games. It was great. It was great football. It was a good time. Cowboy. If you know a Cowboy fan, go check on him.
Yeah, get eyes on him.
Go check on him. Invite him over for. Don't bring up football. Don't watch the games tonight, especially if the Eagles are winning.
Don't bring up sports at all. Talk about what's positive right now.
I'll tell you something positive.
Not the election.
Jordan Love. Let's start with the Packers here because we want to talk about the winning teams first. Jordan Love got pulled from a playoff game because they were winning by too much.
Where are we? What year is this?
48-32 is the final score. That's because the Packers just completely, maybe a little too much, took the gas off took the foot off the gas. Maybe a little too much there.
Was not close though. Don't let this score fool you. It was not close.
It was 7-0 at halftime.
27-7.
To 7 at half. Yeah, they scored that late touchdown. And then they were never going to catch him. They were never going to, even if they would start to score, they were never going to stop Jordan Love. And they didn't. He's the first player, I believe, first rookie or first player to have a perfect passer rating in his first playoff game.
God help him. These Packers freaking did it again.
272, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, almost identical stats to C.J. Stroud. Aaron Jones, turning back the clock, 118 yards, 3 touchdowns. Apparently, he plays well against the Cowboys. I didn't know that.
He was him and Jordan Love, you could debate. The best player on the field, Aaron Jones, was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Was the entire offense at most with 3 touchdowns. That's a lot of scoring. Fantastic.
I'll say this. Jordan Love is doing things with some of these receivers that Aaron Rodgers couldn't.
Hold on.
Listen. Romeo Doubs had 6 catches for 151 yards and a touchdown yesterday. We didn't even get to see Jaden Reed and the phenom he's been. Christian Watson had 1 catch. He just kind of, who was the guy that was going to, he just kind of took what the offense gave him, stuck with the game plan, didn't force it to someone. He looked comfortable. He looked like he was having fun.
He's calm out there. Him and the head coach were just,
buddies.
They saw everything. The play call was awesome. They weren't ever panicked. They weren't ever stressed out about anything. A team that has nothing to lose has nothing to lose. So they're just here and here playing with house money in Jerry World. Jerry World up there just white knuckling his fist as much as he can.
We're gonna talk about the Cowboys. Let's stay on the Packers for a second here. Moving forward, they're going to play the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara.
Tough draw
at Levi Stadium. They're ready just to play a game.
You just said something that Aaron couldn't do was make these guys good. Another thing Aaron couldn't do, beat the 49ers in Santa Clara.
Yeah, I mean, if it's so similar to what's happening in Houston. If CJ Stroud beat the Ravens, it's gonna blow the top off the narrative. If Jordan Love can beat the Niners in San Francisco, it's gonna blow the top off every single Packer fan you know on Twitter.
Yeah,
they're gonna be, and they should, because then you have a phenomic quarterback, a guy who's been up and down. The book was out for me on Jordan Love. Very impressed by what I saw against the Cowboys, but if I see against the Niners, I'm all in.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
Impressive quarterback. Impressive back end of the season. Yeah. Last 8 games, 18 touchdowns. But this is where you really see what kind of quarterback you are. Playoffs. Yeah. Everyone's watching. Things are faster. A lot more reporters during the week. A lot more. This week you have a lot more coverage.
Didn't see the mind.
Yeah, fine. And this just him and Stroud are just on this thing where it's like we're playing with nothing. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah,
and they're just he balled out.
The youngest team to ever win a playoff game. So that's a new youngest team stat for them that we'll hear quite a bit. Probably.
And the first 7th seed to win a playoff team.
Yes, the first 7th seed to win a playoff game. The Cowboys, the only 2 seeds to ever lose the round 1 playoff game. Right, we're gonna get to you in a second. Okay. Jordan, let's show Jordan Love a little more love here. Like you said, last 10 games now, 21 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah.
Just so impressive. I had a couple things on him here. He's here's the stat I was trying to say earlier. The first quarterback in NFL history with a perfect passer rating in his playoff debut. That's the one I was trying to say. It was almost like CJ Stroud just dominated every headline. Like everything you saw was CJ Stroud is amazing.
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Sunday morning.
And then Jordan Love said, hold my cheesehead.
Yeah.
Let me go put my helmet on.
Let me cook.
Let me show you something real quick.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll raise you one.
He just bent the Cowboys defense over the fucking post and just.
Let me tell you right now, I'm down for a Packers-Texans Super Bowl.
Wait, hold on. We don't want. This is the elephant in the room.
I'm down.
We're like, are these two actually just gonna meet in the Super Bowl? Like Stroud and Love. Are they just gonna meet in? I mean, why not? Why not?
Before we move on to the Cowboys there, because God, that's gonna be fun. Let's talk about Jordan Love here, because also another thing here is the NFC North.
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah,
the anticipation I can feel from you about the Cowboys losing the playoff game is. I can feel the heat.
Yes. It's honestly, I don't care if the Eagles lose tonight. I don't care. The Cowboys lost, and I'm good with it.
You know what? It's not our fault. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. The Cowboys have made themselves the most unlikable team.
Hold on.
Okay, just go ahead.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
You know me too. Yesterday, I was rooting. I was literally at points jumping about in my chair during the Packer game. And you know me. Usually, if I'm watching a game that's not an Eagle game, I'm just taking it in.
We were in a house, had a Packer fan, a Bronco fan, an Eagle fan, a Ram fan, and a Dolphin fan, all cheering against the Cowboys.
Yep.
How does that happen, Jerry?
Okay, so the point I was going to make before we can't help ourselves was the NFC North. Looking at Jordan Love. I'm going to switch on something here that I didn't think I would switch on. The Bears got to trade Justin Fields.
I didn't know why.
Yep.
Yeah.
You look at Jordan Love, and you think Justin Fields could be good. He could be great, but you from what you've seen so far, I just feel like you're going to need to be able to keep with this guy, Jordan Love. Justin Fields may not be able to be that guy. I mean, we saw in the last game. We had a preview of it. You might have to go with Caleb Williams here and just bet on landing a Patrick Mahomes great quarterback.
It's a little bit like, I'm not comparing him to this, just what I remember. When Peyton Manning came onto the scene, AFC South, everyone else in the AFC South was like, oh, crap, we have to compete with this guy.
Yeah.
We have to take more chances, be more risky with upside.
Yep.
Fields is tough. I don't know where I am with this one yet.
Yeah.
Because you saw Love like, crap, he's pretty good. And you're like, if the Bears were in there, would Fields have performed? You kind of don't know. Now we know with Love, and the Bears sitting there with this Caleb Williams prospect there, like he's shown stuff like that. It's God, the Bears. But Love's about to own this if everything works out, the way that he thinks it's going to work out. But to own this NFC North, they lost it for 1 year to the Lions. Next year, I mean, Packers Lions. Put that on Sunday Football every time that they freaking play. That's going to be a fantastic game.
I mean, Jared Goff is still young. He's going to play for a couple more years. They're going to be good for a couple years. Jordan Love, Kirk Cousins is going to be back. You better have a quarterback. Like, you better be able to put up 30 points.
Yeah.
That should be a regular thing. I don't know. I don't know. I think it got tougher yesterday.
Yeah.
The decision to keep Justin Fields.
A lot more fun, though, with a healthy Kirk Cousins in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Year 4 now. Next year would be Goff and Dan Campbell, and then whatever you do at quarterback with the Bears, a fun division,
right?
So pretty exciting.
Little note here: I think we're T-minus 2 hours from the time that we're recording right now that Caleb Williams has to declare for the NFL draft. So we'll see. Either Mr. Paints and Nails is just trying to be a diva here.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. It's he's being an artist. He's being himself.
Sure. Either Mr. Paints and Nails is being a diva here and just wants everyone to watch him do this, or he rocks the NFL world and doesn't declare.
If he doesn't declare,
that'd be wild.
So very quick, if he doesn't declare, you keep Fields, right? And you just trade the pick.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely. Okay,
Here we go.
Let's go to the Cowboys here.
Tune it up.
The Cowboys scored 16 points in the fourth quarter. We won't count those.
No.
They scored 16 points. We can kind of give them that.
Joey, why don't you count those 16 points?
Because the Packers gave up. They didn't give up. They just started looking. They started thinking about the Niners already.
Prevent defense, yeah.
Let's start here with Dak because there's a big question here with Dak. Dak is set to
So,
quick note. For the Texans, Noah Brown placed an IR, done for the season. So another hit to that Texans wide receiver core.
they'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. CJ Stroud, great quarterback.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, not sure yet. He had an amazing season.
Yep.
He was in the MVP race. he seems like him and Mike McCarthy were simpatico. Like
Yep.
it seemed like it was going really good, and then just a classic classic Cowboys ending to the season, first round blowout.
Yeah, Dak. He's 30 now. Going into his last year of his deal. Great quarter, like you said, great year. But in the playoffs, he's now 2-5. Much like Tua, like, do you pay someone like that who, when you just saw Jordan Love come in there and do stuff that Dak has never been proven that 2-5 in the playoff is not a great record.
Yeah. And he was. I mean, he finished with 400 yards. That's because he threw 60 times.
I saw this tweet: the most unimpressive 400-yard, 3-touchdown game by a playoff quarterback ever. It was not. It should not have been. Don't count that. Oh, Dak. No, that was like fourth quarter. They were just chucking it up because they had to.
He threw 60 times.
That should tell you the whole story.
Because they're losing the entire game. He was trash. Like I saw this. I probably shouldn't say this. I saw this picture of him, and it was literally just a giant picture of Dak's head, and the bottom in giant bold letters. You see this?
Yeah.
It just said ass.
That was Barstool. That was like that was Barstool. That was a major sports.
It was just such an L for the Cowboys, such an L for Dak. And listen, I always say this, and you mock me for saying it. No one holds Micah Parsons accountable.
Go ahead.
For being this great pass rusher, this on the level with Crosby and Bosa and TJ Watt and Micah Parsons. He should be Defensive Player of the Year in 4 playoff games now. 8 tackles, 1 sack. Yesterday, he had 1 quarterback hit and 2 tackles. Nothing else. He was, and that's honestly surprising because if you watch the game, where's Micah Parsons? You didn't see him. He wasn't affecting the play. I feel like this. Listen, I always say this. I think he's overrated. And yesterday, just another reason to believe that for me.
Playoffs, you get put under a microscope. And when you're an elite player and you have all these stats, you've had, 13 and a half, and 14 sacks in back-to-back years. Then you do this kind of stuff in the playoffs. It almost mutes everything you've done in the regular season because you can't perform when the lights are brightest.
Yeah.
Look, we were hard on Tua, we're hard on Dak. Let's be fair here. Micah Parsons didn't show up.
If someone's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, then they deserve to be held to a very high standard.
Higher standard.
Yeah, especially in a playoff game. You should be a difference maker. You should be someone that we're talking about today in a positive way because your team won. But he just disappeared, and I've seen it year after year after year, and no one ever talks about it. He doesn't have a lot of playoff games in his repertoire because they never go anywhere in the playoffs. But I want to talk about Micah Parsons for a second, and then this defense as a whole just shredded. Stephon Gilmore we've seen him play really good football this year. So I'm not saying to say he's washed.
Got cooked.
He got cooked over and over again yesterday.
There was a play where it was a deep post kind of corner drag.
Dobbs.
And then he cooked it right. And then Gilmore was still running left as Dobbs ran right.
But that's not the cornerback I want to talk about. I want to throw this name up to you just as a lob, and I'll let you take it. Deron Bland, all-pro cornerback.
How many times did
thoughts?
How many times did I say what I'm going to say? So, Bronco fan here. If you're an NFL fan, Patrick Surtain, top 3, top 2, top 1 cornerback in the league. Deron Bland makes All-Pro, which he had a pretty good season. He had a lot of picks. 6 right picks, a lot of touchdowns, whatever.
Yeah,
I didn't see that yesterday. Where the hell was All-Pro? Deron Bland yesterday.
Yesterday, he was responsible for 137 yards that he gave up.
Interesting. How? What?
Meanwhile, you have Patrick Surtain just locking down everyone, and then you have L'Jarius Sneed, the other one who was snubbed for that pick, locking down Tyreek Hill in the playoff game, and Deron Bland. It's just such a. We expect this from the Pro Bowl voting.
Yeah,
don't expect this from the All Pro stuff.
Yeah, some goofy add-ins, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, but Sneed locking up Tyreek Hill, and the lack of total presence that Deron Bland had yesterday on the field with the team's youngest wide receiver core, makes no sense why he got All Pro, like we just did with Micah Parsons. If you're an All Pro, we're gonna hold you to a higher standard. You got cooked yesterday. The All Pro looks like a total fluke now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jair Alexander went against CeeDee Lamb, 0 yards allowed, 1 interception. That's what a cornerback like. That's what your number one cornerback should look like.
Yeah.
And Deron Bland didn't even come close to that. Let alone an All Pro, one of the best in the league.
Like,
the defense was bad. Dan Quincy, I think, took a hit yesterday. Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat, like the hottest seat he's ever been on now. Dak, do you re-sign him? Jerry Jones is just rolling his eyes in the press box. It's a mess in Dallas.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot because here's what could happen. They could fire Big Mike, right? They have the option of the Dak, whatever. They're losing Pollard this year, free agent. They're losing Tyron Smith, free agent. They're losing Byett, free agent. They are $21 million over the cap.
Biases are all pro center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not all pro.
Pro Bowl?
Yeah, Pro Bowl. Yeah. Still, they're in a tough spot where this is a transitional period. You could totally kind of see it. There's a lot of contracts coming off, a lot of old guys coming off, quarterbacks coming off, head coach, you don't know if he's good or not. You have a lot of these powerful head coaches available right now, Vrabel, Belichick out there. We could see a different team, but this all goes back to Jerry Jones. Who can win or be successful with Jerry Jones? What kind of head coaches want to go into that? Because we were like, well, why not have Belichick go there? Then you see post game Jerry Jones just telling everything about everything, and that's why Belichick isn't going to go there.
The owner had a press conference before the coach did, before the players did. Like he was already talking. The reporters went to Jerry Jones.
Belichick isn't going to go to that.
Belichick's going to be so annoyed by that.
Like you're going to lose good head coach, and this is the story of the Cowboys since the 80s. You're losing good head coaches because your owner can't shut the hell up.
Yeah, I mean that's a real issue. That's a reason why they haven't won, I think, in so long. It's part of the problem.
Yeah.
They're just in a rough spot, and I want to kind of bring this up just as a thought because it's going to come up at some point in the offseason. They traded for a young quarterback this offseason. He's been sitting there in silence, learning. He was once a very highly touted prospect, still relatively raw. We haven't seen much of him, and that is one Trey Lance.
So Trey Lance sits there, him and Dak on the same year of the last year of their contracts. Much cheaper to sign Trey Lance.
Yep.
Build a roster around him.
So if you're looking to start over, you have a young quarterback in place. Maybe you go get a young coach. Maybe you can lure away a Ben Johnson or some those kind of guys to work with your young quarterback that you're taking a shot on. Save the money from Dak Prescott. Also an option.
Also, not a bad bridge quarterback because you'll give him a goofy 2-year deal. Say kind of like a 1 year prove it, 2 year if you're really good.
If you hit.
If you hit, you get a quarterback, and you've now gained the ability to build around him with a cheaper overall cap number.
So you're the GM right now. You're Jerry Jones or whoever the hell the GM is there.
Jerry Jones,
his son or one of his sons,
or Jerry Jones,
one of the white-haired white men in that room. What are you doing at quarterback?
This is the last year of Dak. I'm signing what I'm gonna do. I'm letting Dak play out this year, and I'm signing Trey Lance while Dak's there as a message. If you don't perform, we have a guy waiting here, buddy. Because quarterbacks are this entire league. It's a quarterback-driven league. 2-5 in the freaking playoffs. You can't win like that.
And then just if he balls out, you just bring
balls out. If Dak balls out, then you just sign him. But if he doesn't, you have your get out of jail free card with Trey Lance.
It's going to be an interesting offseason for the Cowboys. Congrats to the Packers. They'll move on and face the Niners. So we'll take a quick break, and then we'll get into the final game of the weekend, or at least for Sunday, the Rams and the Lions. Be right back. Okay, we are back with our final game we're going to cover here on Monday's episode. Tonight, of course, 2 games as the Bills will host the Steelers and the Bucs will host the Eagles. Before we talk about those, because we'll touch them real quick. We already recapped them in Friday's show. Let's talk Rams at Lions. So much emotion. Pre-game, during the game, and post-game. It was a great way to recap.
We already said it.
So cap off the weekend.
We already said it.
Yeah.
Please, trying to make sense of the Lions fans booing Stafford. Please, you just try.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's obvious. They have their boy Jared Goff. Okay. There's obviously there's very obviously some hard feelings, more than I thought there was, toward the Rams and how they kind of sent him off. And so they have their boy, their redemption story, their underdog, and they rallied behind him. And in rallying behind him, sometimes you hate the other guy. It's almost like when you're in school and you have your boy, and he's gonna get dumped, and he starts dating again after he gets dumped. just by association, you're gonna hate the X.
Yeah. Okay. I get
You know,
it.
because you're like, no, I'm for my boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
His
Screw
enemy,
you.
his enemy, my enemy.
Ho.
I think that's what happened last night.
Yeah.
I think they're just siding with their boy, and sorry, X, we're against you too.
Yeah. I didn't like it at all.
I hated it.
I hated it.
I hated it.
I felt so bad because we saw Stafford.
Yeah.
With those teams, with those Jim Caldwell teams, right? For those years where
He
they
did
were
all he could.
they were in it every. He would throw for 5,000 yards every year. He had Megatron. He was trying his best. It was just he was in the Brady era. He was in the era where Brady and Manning were still in the league, and he couldn't do anything.
To me, Matthew Stafford is much closer to Drew Brees than he is Matt Ryan.
Thank you for saying this. Stafford balled out yesterday.
He's really good.
He's very good.
He now has been the quarterback for two different receivers who have broke the receiving yards record, or no, the receptions.
Yeah.
So two different of those receivers, Calvin Johnson and then
Puka Nacua this year for
no, Calvin Johnson and Cooper Kupp.
Oh, Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp. And then this year, he was the quarterback for Puka Nacua, who broke the rookie record for doing yards for a rookie. I mean, he's like, yeah, these are great receivers, but it's no coincidence that at the back end of this is Matthew Stafford every single time. So to hate on that kind of quarterback is just like, you were lucky to have Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. It was a bit like act like you've been here before, but the Lions had never been here before, where they're a good team and they lost another good. It was just honestly, it was kind of a little class, a little tasteless. I didn't like it at all. We were actively cheering against the Lions yesterday because of that. I was.
Well, yeah, that didn't really get. What got to me is and I don't want to skip the whole game to get to this, but Kirby Joseph, man, I do not like that man.
So explain why.
So Kirby Joseph, a couple of weeks ago, sees T.J. Hawkinson in a crossing route and just launches himself helmet first at his shin knee area, torn ACL.
Yep.
T.J. Hawkinson. Yesterday, Tyler Higbee, doing the same thing, crossing route, and just in the open field, launching himself directly into his knee. You see the knee literally bend in the way that's not supposed to. We all knew what happened as soon as it happened. Yep. Tyler Higbee goes down. Who knows what's happening with his career now?
He's older, ACL this late in his career.
It's just his foot planted with the helmet going into his knee. You know what's going to happen. That's almost like a 100% injury. Like that's gonna.
But Joey, that's what the NFL wants us to do. Is gonna go is go low.
Collinsworth, right? Last night, Collinsworth was saying that. Speaking from a player, because obviously he's an ex-player. Speaking from a player mindset, he's like, I'd rather get targeted in my head all day than that hit right there.
Because that could alter careers. Like look at Higbee now. He's older, got hurt in the playoffs, so he's not gonna be around for the first.
He'll be replaced on the roster this offseason
because of this.
Yeah.
Because of a hit that was directed towards someone's kneecap head first.
Yeah. So I mean, the only at the end of the game, I was rooting against the Lions because that pissed me off so bad. But yet, I'm still happy for them. Let's get into this game here. We've kind of just floated around some of the headlines, but let's get kind of into the nitty gritty here. 24-23 is the final score. The Lions beat the Rams. Lions here looking forward. I mean, there was a time this season where we started to doubt them a little bit, where we started to think, I don't know, maybe this is a little bit of a fraud thing. Maybe they're still too new. Maybe they're going to be a one and done. And yet here they are beating the Rams, which, I mean, to be the 2 seed and win by 1 against the Rams, it's not terribly impressive.
What stood out to me yesterday was what it's kind of all season, what's been on my mind, the defense. Although they were hard hitting and they had moments where they were, whatever. Hutchinson had a great game, 2 sacks.
He did.
Secondary, Stafford was lighting them up.
Yeah.
This is the one weakness of this team where it's like, I don't trust them at all.
They're fantastic against the run. And Collins was talking about that, about how they just decided this offseason they're going to be good against the run.
Yeah.
And mission accomplished.
It's a mindset, yeah.
Which is really good, especially with the teams they're going to face in the NFC.
Yeah.
With the Eagles, the Niners. That might play really well. But these cornerbacks are terrible. The safeties are good, but they're not really like the coverage shutdown type of safeties.
We're just like impact kind of
right
in the run game.
Talking about Branch and Garner Johnson and Kirby Joseph.
Yeah.
And so, I think Purdy tears his team up. I think Hurts is just fine against this team. I think Baker Mayfield's just fine against this team throwing the ball. So going forward, we'll see how that plays out.
Offensively, they look pretty balanced. They look pretty. This is what they are.
Montgomery really paid dividends yesterday, especially on that final drive, making some key plays to put the game away.
Yeah.
Gibbs, when he gets the ball.
We have to have a talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown and the All-Pro snub the Pro Bowl snub. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the most underrated, overlooked wideout in the National Football League. It's yesterday, seven catches, 110 yards, caught the game-clinching third down conversion. Still underrated. I don't really get that. That's the one thing I don't understand about this Lions team is how the running backs get all the love and Dan Campbell, no love for Amon-Ra St. Brown. It baffles me that an elite wideout like him. And if you might feel, well, in fantasy he's good. In real life he's freaking good too.
You talking about a Pro Bowl snub?
Pro Bowl, yeah.
Okay, he was an All-Pro,
but still, like
first team All-Pro.
No one talks about him in the Tyreek Hill, in the CD Lamb. He's just as good as them. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's very good. He's at times just unstoppable. It's going to him over and over again. There isn't really another big time receiver on this team. Laporta being hurt now, especially. He's done what he always done. He's almost too reliable. He's almost boring. I think I heard a great comp yesterday for Puka Nacua that was Hines Ward. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is very Hines Ward as well. Just a tough, very strong receiver who can still get open. Can know, not a athlete that's going to blow you away, but knows how to get open.
Yeah.
Not a combine football player, but an on the field like football player.
Those tend to be better wideouts because they're good at being a wideout more than they are being an athlete. Like they're good at getting open, getting separation, all that.
Yeah. I was gonna talk about sorry.
You okay there?
Yeah, give me a second. We're gonna cut it.
Drink something, yeah.
I think it's black coffee that's doing it to me.
Maybe water in here?
I'm good. Just give me a second. A player I want to look at in this offense is Jahmyr Gibbs. I think going forward, and I get last night, you wanted to put it in the hands of David Montgomery. David Montgomery wasn't especially explosive, 14 carries, 57 yards. I think Jahmyr Gibbs could even be more involved in this offense, especially since what we just talked about the receiving options being a little bit limited. But, yeah, like you said, very balanced and 5 for 80 for Josh Reynolds. Also a revenge game for him. There was some real revenge. I didn't know it was like that.
A lot of emotions in this game. Led by Dan Campbell, a very outspoken, not emotional.
He leads with emotion.
Yeah, but he's not like out of control. But he's just he leads with emotion. This team is just reflecting him. A very strong, kind of tough-minded football team, and they won a very tough game yesterday. And whether that was a PI hole, whatever, we're not gonna get into that. They won a football game.
Yeah.
The Lions are back into this realm of their contenders every year. Yesterday, we saw Lions fans literally crying once they won. Very feel good story for this team. I'm very happy that the Lions now, for my whole life, have been just total ass. Now are pretty freaking good.
2 things I want to bring up. Number one, I'm glad you mentioned the ref thing. It was a terribly rough game.
Yeah.
I'm not taking away anything from anyone.
Yeah.
It was a terribly rough game. A lot of big missed calls, like impactful missed calls yesterday. And that's all I'll say about that. The other thing I thought was kind of cool in the loss, even, the Rams, number one, Puka Nacua broke the rookie receiving record, 181 yards. The other thing was did you see the post-game conference for McVay?
Yeah.
He spoke about how, because McVay almost retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was almost gone. He spoke about how this team kind of brought the love of football back for him, kind of recentered him and what he wants to be. I think he's around for a while still, and I think there's a little window here for the Rams.
Yeah, Stafford, he was always in and out, and then now, because of that, he kind of felt, whatever. But this offseason, now they're heading into this thing with Aaron Donald every year, retirement. Stafford's locked up for another 2 years, so he's not going anywhere.
Okay,
I think you're running back with Stafford.
Okay, so let's talk about the Rams here. You run back with Stafford. Kyron Williams in revelation.
Yep.
Cheap, 5th-round pick. Puka Nacua is a legit wide receiver one in this league. There's no more doubt. There's no more gimmicky thing to him. He is the real deal. Last night, he was
tough as hell.
Honestly, I don't know who the best receiver if it was Amon-Ra St. Brown or Puka Nacua.
They
were matching each other.
Amon-Ra is an all-pro wideout.
Exactly.
And
First team all-pro.
Puka is a rookie wideout, a 5th-round rookie wideout.
To bring him back, that I think makes the decline of Cooper Kupp a lot more palatable in the fact that he can just slide into that other spot.
Just number 2, yeah.
Tutu Atwell has played really well this year, kind of giving that speed element.
Had a big catch yesterday. Yep.
With a dot from Stafford.
Yeah, Stafford
just
was dealing.
Dime.
He was dealing.
Yeah, so the offense is fine. Defense is young, and I think that showed a couple times yesterday. But
because of this
Not bad.
this reset that with no draft pick trades, they're now next year in this offseason they have $48 million in cap.
Yeah.
Projected.
And a lot of young talent.
And not a lot of major guys coming off. Some linemen that played well, but you can always replace them with better linemen. You have money now.
Yeah.
You have the clout of being a Super Bowl winning head coach, being in LA.
Matthew Stafford,
and a team that's going to be in these kind of games. A very sneaky free agent destination. Is the LA Rams. They've just declared themselves back into the non-rebuild, still in it.
You think of Chris Jones.
Yep.
You think of
Christian
Brian
Wilkins.
Burns.
Yep.
Christian Wilkins. Big-time defensive talent to come to this team and think the offense is going to put up points.
Yeah.
That's fun for defender.
Yeah.
I think the first guy to sign is someone who almost came in at quarterback yesterday.
Carson Wentz.
We were
so close.
Badly.
When Stafford got concussed, he got concussed. That replay.
100%.
He got concussed. He blacked out. He came to. Got back up.
Yeah, we should have given him bananas. His eyes rolled back.
No. I didn't mention that in my
yeah.
Like he eyes roll back like the freaking Undertaker, and then back up,
And then just a blank stare.
and then dude back at it, and then back just dealing.
What an animal!
What a freaking stud, dude!
I love Matthew Stafford.
It made me remember I forgot why everyone loved this guy.
He's a warrior.
Just a gunslinger who does no passes better than anyone in the league. Still, I don't care if Mahomes or Josh Allen. He's the coolest throwing quarterback still in the league. He does the sidearm stuff. He does He
does it in game, like playoff games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like not in the preseason or in some training camp video.
Yeah, he's doing all that stuff in when they're down by 4 against the Lions or whatever. They're in a pretty good spot. Aaron Donald, the retirement thing, you have to deal with that. No one really knows where he is. He's 32. My iPad just died. He is aging, but pretty good spot. 48 mil, a good destination. I'd be very enthused and excited if I was a Rams fan because we're not in a rebuild anymore. We're still in the hunt here.
Yeah, so they will move ahead here and sorry, not the Rams. The Rams go into the offseason. The Lions will move ahead here and play the winner of the Eagles-Bucks. That is tonight. We're just getting to a quick game preview for Monday night's now doubleheader. We're going to do it again. I didn't have it up. So I'll just throw stuff to you. You just comment.
Yeah, it just died. Wait. Caleb Williams is declared to enter the draft.
Okay.
Just broke 1 minute ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I gotta get a picture of Will Ferrell sitting up here, dude. I love that guy. God.
We do have some breaking news here. USC quarterback and projected number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, has declared for the 2024 overall draft. And let the party begin. Chicago Bears, you are on the clock.
Bears they just peed their pants. They're like, oh crap, he's coming out.
It's happening.
It's happening. Yeah, they have such a decision. I do not envy Ryan Poles and what he has to do, and Eberflus and what he has to take on as a head coach for this team that's going to oh, man. Oh, God.
So we're going to talk a lot of Caleb Williams this offseason, but he will be in the draft. Just waited for the last literally 30 minutes left before he announced.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this during the show, though. Now we can add it to our show.
Okay, so let's get into the first game. It's going to be Steelers at Bills. I don't know if you saw what the Bills Stadium looks like this morning, but just beautiful. It's going to be, visually, it's going to be fun to watch.
Honestly, it looked beautiful.
Snow on the floor,
clear
skies. The field is that green where it's that looks like a cold grass.
Yeah,
but it's nice and clean.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. Might not be fun for the Steelers. No TJ Watt. Mason Rudolph still gonna start. So we broke this game already.
Yeah.
They need to run the ball. Bills, if they win, will go to Kansas City.
Okay.
And I I think they have a good shot against Kansas City.
And then Steelers, if they win, they go to
Steelers, if they were to win, they would go and lose to the Ravens.
Sheesh, Joe, give them a chance here.
They don't have a chance at hell.
Oh God,
Against the Ravens, not
I'm
enough.
trying to think a little optimistically. Maybe they ball out.
I mean,
maybe
yeah,
something
you never
happened.
know. You
Maybe
never
Josh
know.
Allen has too many turnovers tonight.
Mason Rudolph.
Maybe look. Football is a crazy thing. We don't know what can happen. If you're in the dance, you're in the dance. Who knows what can happen? But most likely,
Yeah.
the Bills are going to win. Yeah.
That game's at 1:30. That's just in 2 hours here from when we're recording.
Woo!
So we got to get
some
ready
grub
for
right
that
here.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other game will be the Eagles at the Bucks. This game has a lot riding on it, and I'll just say this as an Eagle fan. I have never seen the Eagles go into a playoff game with such a wide array of outcomes. If they lose and they look bad, we could see Jeffrey Lurie fire Sirianni, fire the coordinators. Kurtz isn't going anywhere, but might be the last game for Jason Kelsey, might be the last game for Fletcher Cox, might be the last game for Brandon Graham. So we could see kind of a young, new Eagles team next year. If they win the Super Bowl last year. If they win, people are going to start saying, well, maybe they got it right. Maybe they're right because their success was that recent to where you can trick yourself into thinking, oh, they fixed it.
Yeah.
You know, they got it right now, which I would have a hard time believing still, but I think most fans would kind of believe that. So a couple of big news. Sorry, good.
No, just to echo that. Like I said, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, just get in it. If you figure it out now on the fly, who cares? Just figure it out as fast as you can in the playoffs. Buccaneers one win in the last 5 games. Not a team that's hot right now.
Right.
But neither are you. So maybe this is a nice little quiet blessing in disguise. You get a team that's also not playing well. You get right against them. Then who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, both teams coming into this game 1-5 in the last 6, or 1-4 in the last 5 games.
Yeah.
Both kind of just backing into the playoffs here, but both in the playoffs because at some point this season they were really, really good.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what happens. Over the weekend, though, some Eagles news did break that we didn't know last Friday, and that is that A.J. Brown will not play.
Yeah.
No A.J. Brown. They played him last week. That's going to be a big talking point if they lose because they played him in a game where all the Cowboys had to do was beat the Cardinals to clinch the East, and then the game was meaningless for the Eagles. Yeah. So a lot of people felt that the Eagles should sit their players. They play them. A.J. Brown hurt. Jalen Hurts didn't practice all week, didn't throw a ball all week because he dislocated his finger.
Devonta Smith banged up.
Devonta Smith's banged up, although he's going to play, but an ankle. So we'll see if that makes an impact. Obviously, A.J. Brown at times has been our best player.
Yeah.
Just overall. So,
look,
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And on the Bucs side, if they could just get hot offensively and shut down they did play prior. What was that, week 4 or 5? That was early on. Yeah.
Eagles ran the ball over them. Eagles shut down the run. I remember when the Eagles used to do that. Man, that was nice when they used to do that.
That was good time.
I remember they used to be,
Remember when we were hot?
Run. They haven't stopped the run. Yeah, seriously. It's just I almost don't even like looking back at that game because it's just almost like because we didn't even reference the Texans-Browns matchup before.
Yeah.
Because C.J. Stroud didn't play. It was just a different team.
Yeah, it wasn't the same.
This feels like very much that. It was a different team. Eagles were in a different place. We didn't know what the Bucs were yet.
Yeah.
I think defensively, I think Eagles are going to struggle to run the ball. And I think there's an opportunity for the Eagles to throw the ball because besides Winfield, that Bucs secondary sucks.
Yeah, so Bucs have a puncher's chance here. They have a pretty good defense. The offense kind of up and down, but I mean, you get what you can from Baker Mayfield. You have 2 good wideouts. You have Rashad White's pretty good, who's pretty good running back.
Yeah,
offensive line, who's solid left tackle. The rest of it's okay, but yeah, it's the playoffs. I mean, you never know. Hurts starts throwing interceptions or fumbling, whatever. Buccaneers get hot at the right time. Mike Evans goes off. You know what? You never know. And it's in Tampa.
Darius Slay's back. So hopefully that helps because Mike Evans has been unstoppable this year.
Phenomenal.
Chris Godwin, I think, is someone who can really kill the Eagles because they haven't had an answer at the slot. Maddox, just coming off the injury, isn't going to jump back into that. He'll go to safety.
Yeah.
So Godwin could really eat.
Yeah.
I think the one saving grace might be that Baker Mayfield is very hobbled.
Yeah.
Like his ankle is really bad. There's a chance he wasn't going to play this week.
Yeah.
And so Eagles pass rush. They have to get it done.
We'll see. This is a pretty exciting game. Pretty good ending to this. Yeah. Awesome. Hopefully these games are good. And if you're listening to this after the games, hey, what a game, huh?
Yeah.
Wild.
What a game.
Oh my God.
Eagles going to Detroit next week.
Can you believe that ending? Put some random stuff.
No, don't even say that. God, what a blowout.
What a crazy
Eagles are
game.
back.
Eagles. Baker Mayfield's awesome, or something like that.
Baker win the Super Bowl.
Mason Rudolph is he the real deal?
Oh gosh, yeah. Can you imagine?
That won't happen.
That was fun, man. Playoff football is fun. We'll see you again Wednesday to talk about these two games, and then look ahead to next week. I have a couple of those projections here. I know the Texans will play either the Ravens and Chiefs at 1:30 on Saturday. So Texans-Ravens to kick it all off again. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then the nightcap on Saturday will be Packers at Niners. Woo! And then Sunday, Eagles or Bucks at Lions to kick the day off at 1 o'clock.
Good game either way.
And the nightcap will either be KC at Buffalo or Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh losing to the Ravens at I think 3:30 or 3:30 Pacific. We won't say Eastern because we're in LA.
Yeah, LA.
Last thing I want to talk about real quick. I know it's been a big show. The All-Pro voting came out, and we referenced it a couple times. A couple things I want to bring up. Obviously, you're furious. Surtain isn't.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. First or second team.
But a couple things I want to point out here for first team All-Pro voting at quarterback. Okay, this was Lamar Jackson's year in every single way. He got 45 votes. No one else had more than 2.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy had 2. Dak Prescott had 2. Might be too much for Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen had 1. 3 players who did not make the Pro Bowl made it to their first team. Made it to the first team All-Pro team. That kind of shows you how much of a joke sometimes the Pro Bowl is.
Not a joke. Just like don't really rely too much on
right.
Pro Bowl selections. It's not really the same.
And I think soon here we're gonna start seeing in contracts because a lot of times there's incentives tied to Pro Bowl voting.
Yeah.
I think we might see that pulled a little bit here because there's some ridiculous stuff going on with people getting into the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
it might just be all tied to the All-Pro team.
Yeah, if I was a guy, like, don't put that in my contract. I don't Pro Bowl. Like, no. Like,
Right.
what if I have a good an All-Pro season? No one puts me into the Pro Bowl.
So let me say that again. 3 people who did not make the Pro Bowl made the first team All-Pro team. Number 1 is Amon-Ra St. Brown. You touch that, just no respect. I don't know why.
Stud.
It's crazy too because you would think like the fantasy community would understand how good this guy is, but
Still doesn't.
So far, not there. Jets linebacker Quincy Williams.
Dog.
He's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe because they were so bad this year,
Yeah.
he's overlooked. And then Bucs safety Antoine Winfield, a free agent.
We'll see him tonight. Yep. Phenomenal.
Next year he'll be playing for the Eagles.
Phenomenal safety. I mean, for the Broncos. Please. Very good safety. Underrated, overlooked. All of it.
There were 3 unanimous first-team All-Pros. Can you name them?
Oh, God.
That's a lot.
Chris McCaffrey.
Nailed it.
Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
Is it offensive defense?
It's a defensive player.
Fred Warner.
Oh,
my gosh. I promise you I didn't look it up.
Good work. And your iPad's dead.
My iPad's dead, so yeah, this is off the top of my head.
So congrats to those guys, All-Pro teams. That's always really fun. That's our show for today. Thanks very much for joining us. Hope you had a great weekend, and it's not over yet tonight.
Enjoy your day off. Enjoy some football today. What a
Doubleheader.
great day this is.
Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Happy MLK Day, guys. Oh, my
some
God.
football.
Get some beer going, some food going. Let's go.
See you Wednesday.
Peace.